Hello YouTube and hello Twitch chat. In this video, or this stream depending on where you're watching, we're going to be discussing every single card rotated out in Ultimate Colosseum, at least the important ones, right? So why not start with the very juicy neutrals? Okay, first we got Clash of Heroes. Clash of Heroes did see a good amount of play, and I actually like this card a lot. It's particularly juicy with things like Ramiel, some good synergy there. Has good art. Kagemitsu against Gravy. A nice card. I did like this card. In the grand scheme of things, losing Clash of Heroes doesn't actually mean anything, right? But it was a nice card and I did enjoy this. Centrigate was funny once upon a time. You could do this to counter Kagemitsu. There's some good memes there, but nothing relevant. Physical Goblins. This was the card that was printed to counter Leod. You guys ever think about how that works for rotation? Like, this card was printed to stop Leod, and it did or did not. And then now it still exists today. Imagine Leon interacting with the cards of today. Weird. So not really relevant these days. Surson. I mean, all the universe cards rotate out, and we'll get to those later on. So this would matter if those cards were not gone, but they are, so it doesn't really matter. He was cool though, I did like him. Colosseum itself, although more of a meme card for like 90% of its life. At the very end, it did see some play. Colosseum Dragon was a real deck, and hey. Now, to be fair, the Colosseum Dragon does not rely on Colosseum at all. You can 100% just play Bike Face Dragon without Colosseum and still be fine. So, although it sees play, it's not like it's a huge loss anyway. Surson was okay. Surson was good back in the day. Sheep Rider has a good haircut. And I'll always remember him for Crumpy, playing him for the haircut. But otherwise, not relevant. Chat was good in chat. Shadow, a tier 0 deck. Otherwise, never saw any play. Mitro was just complete garbage. Card is just yes. Yeah, Blue Eyes in the chat. If you mean the emo, that is Louis Poe. So we have Louis Poggers and we have Louis Poe. Yeah, Mitro was ass. Never saw any play whatsoever. Bile her now. Alright, Kurumi. This will make you happy, dude. There you go. Now, Athena was a Shadowverse card. One that I always liked. Now, it was more of a meme card than anything else. There were some scenarios where this was good. For example, we played this with Ginger, making it one play point and being kind of hype. But it was not really core, not played at all these days. So, although I did personally like her, this card could have been way better. Like, this card could have easily been 6 play points and it would have been okay, maybe. 7 was just too expensive. The art is nice, the effect was cool, but card never really got there, sadly. And last but not least, the Mammoth's God Colosseum. I think that I personally overhyped this card. I mean, I like because it's a big mammoth, and back in the day we didn't have Bahamut, so this was like, oh, it's gonna be the new Bahamut, right? But I don't know, it never was good enough. Like, the Ramp Dragon decks that could play this were never really got to shine. And other decks just can't utilize the 9-drop so chunky, right? Again, I like the idea. It's a cool card, it's a cool design. It just never really got there. The worst Bahamut ever made. Yeah, kinda sad, right? I did like this card though. Yeah, we got 2 shiny mammoths. They never saw a ton of play though. This card carried the expansion on their back. I mean, he did carry the literal Colosseum, so there is that. Well. Okay. Let's go to Forestcraft. So what does Forest lose, chat? Well, first of all, they lose the Limaga package. Which is sad. Before you guys kick doubly at me, well, you guys know that I like the Limaga deck, I always did. It's a shame that it never got any actual support, it really did not. It only ever got this dude as support. And believe it or not, the deck was better before this card existed. So, Limaga was the deck that I used to get Grandmaster in Colosseum, and I had a lot of fun with the deck. But it already was like tier 2, tier 3 at that time. And it only went downhill after. Never getting any support or seeing any other play. Lumaga herself might have seen Fringe play in other decks like the Terraformer, but she never really saw the light of day, and I guess we won't really miss her. Lumaga sympathizers, yeah. Now Fairy Dragon is a Shadowverse card that I will dearly miss. I absolutely love this guy. Why do I have 4 extras? Anyway, Fairy Dragon was cool. This is like so much that I love about Forest. The Evo synergy, Bounce synergy, you know, Rally synergy, Fairy synergy, Cards Played synergy, just so much good stuff. And I mean so many different decks. Did we make the Fairy Dragon put in mad work? I will dearly miss this guy. It's kind of funny too because as Fairy Dragon rotates out, the new archetype of Forest with Sekka appears to be like a bunch of dudes being played. And this guy would have definitely shown in that. But maybe they'll bring a new card like him that can replace him. I will dearly miss him. I really liked him a lot. He was a really fun and really decent card. I really liked him. Slash, just part of the Lumaga package. Spirit Shine. This was part of the Amatas deck, right? People play as an Amatas. Get the fairies and stuff. Won't really miss it. Reno, first of the universe we're gonna talk about. You know, of all the universe cards, Reno was not the most impactful. She definitely did see play, and back in the day she was good to get those May power plays and things like that. But in the grand scheme of things, the other universe cards were way, and I mean way more impactful. Plus she did have that weird RNG to her effect, where you didn't ensure if you got 2 or 4. And I never really liked that design either. So I really won't miss Reno that much, not at all. Poker on the other hand, is one of the most, if not the most impactful universe card. Essentially played in all Forest decks till the end of time, as soon as she came out till today. Just a fantastic follower, great fanfare, good combo effect, great universe. Just a great Forest card. Now, I will say this though, people will miss Kokoro, and I agree she will be missed, but Kokoro was not really essential to a lot of Forestcraft decks. What I mean by that is that even if all Forestcraft decks played her, it's not like she was necessary for any of them to necessarily win and or function, if that makes sense. Like if I queue a Forest deck today with 3 Kokoros in it, and I don't draw those Kokoros, we could still win, right? It doesn't really influence that. Obviously she helps and she might help us win, but it's not like she's needed, right? It's not the same as like, let's say we are Natura Dragon and I queue with 3 Baldains and I don't draw Baldain, I literally can't win, right? So, although, yes, we will miss Kokoro, I'm pretty sure Forest decks can function without her. And, you know, there might be other card draw, because really all she did was draw cards, which, you know, it's pretty generic effect. I will miss her, but I also don't mind her being replaced. This is where rotation is good, and I don't mind the rotation effect. She's just a solid card given consistency, yeah. But she never was like Manconation or anything like that, of course. Mallet Monkey saw some playing aggressive Forest decks. You could say that like Luxus is the evolution of Aggro Forest, but I like the old Aggro Forest decks with, you know, Imperia, may he rest in peace, the green Axeman dude, maybe Mallet Monkey. It was a cool card. I like the art, I like the character. Aggro Forest didn't really shine too much though, but I will miss them. And then these are just part of the Lumaga package, which again I already talked about in detail, so goodbye Lumaga, you were a cool character. It would have been nice if her fanfare was DL2 to random follower and her universe was DL4 to all. That would have been way better, yeah. Yo, Mero in the chat, how are you doing, Mero? The Rose Queen, Roach Queen. Hopefully we get Rose Queen back. I would love to see Rose Queen return. Okay, so for Forest overall, the main thing we lose is obviously Kokoro is the most important card. The Fairy Dragon is also important, and everything else is kind of whatever, to be honest. No huge losses either way. Swordcraft is a class, believe it or not. And I guess it's only fitting we start with Kagemitsu. Kagemitsu is definitely the star of Colosseum Sword. And once again, one of those cards like Kokoro that was played in absolutely all sword decks. Man, it's just too good. Cool character, great voice line.
The battlefield.
The battlefield. Just a great character, man. I can't believe you guys did not vote for Kagemitsu to be a leader. I'm disappointed in you guys, chat. Kage is also like huge part of that Evo synergy. Could just carry the sword early game on its own. Honestly, great design. I really like what they did with Kagemitsu. Like, Kagemitsu is really, really strong. But man, he had good design. He had counterplay. I don't know, I like Hagemitsu. He was a cool card. I really liked him. Someone said something about Rose Queen returning because her voice actors is voicing someone in the story. I don't know if that seems a little bit too random. Yeah, 100 years from now, we'll still be sitting here quoting Kagemitsu, and I will dearly miss him. I do hope for the record that Sword goes into a direction that's not just spam evils and get a bunch of free effects. So there is that. Acquisition was never really played. Samurai is not really played. Take 2 card. Twin Master rarely played. Like, these already stopped seeing play. I guess this did see some play. Steph is a big follower. One of those like insanely good sword followers that saw a ton of play. Having both Storm, Great Clash, and Evo Effect while being, you know, a nice low-costed officer. Really great card, but, you know, doesn't really... We don't rely on this. It's not a huge loss at the end of the day. If Kagemitsu was so good, why didn't they make Kagemitsu? We'll still get the auto voice honk frog. Twin Sword release. Yeah, those were back in the day. Pekko wasn't that good at the end of the day. She did see maybe fringe play at the start. But as soon as Sword got all these other insane evil cards, Pekko was always like the first to go, right? First to get cut. Sees literally no play whatsoever these days. Cool character though. I especially like her Evo art. The effects make her look really nice. Play the Pekko Evo boys. And it trophy with the raid, thank you dude. Yeah, Pekko was cool, but honestly, really, her being gone is absolutely no difference at all. Flock Lancer, Natura, Synergy, doesn't matter. Courtly Dance saw play, and it sees play today in the Walfred deck. So technically Walfred getting a nerf because they lose Courtly Dance. But if Walfred's gonna see more play, they need a lot more things, and I don't know if they're going to support Walfred or not, but they definitely will miss Courtly Dance. Being able to pull 3 followers of your deck that have been buffed like potentially by +6/+6 with Storm is massive. The fact that Walfred won't be able to go Courtly Dance into like buff Samurai with Storm makes that deck a lot worse, honestly, like a lot worse. Chizuru used to be insane. Once upon a time in Shadowverse, if you went second, you Evo Chizuru, you get a 5/7 that cleared the board. And as you get a heal, your opponent can't clear and you just win the game, right? And those days are long, long gone. But once upon a time, Chizuru was played. And she was insanely good. These days, does not see a light of day. Her rotation probably does not mean too much. Breakneck Draw, never really saw play. Very specific decks that might have played this. Nothing too relevant. Will not miss this. Quick Draw Maven, take 2 card. Nice Evo art, I guess. Paladin was insane in Take 2. But all the cards that rotate out of this expansion, they've already been out of Take 2 for an extra expansion, so it's not even worth mentioning that. But she was an insane Take 2 card. And Ariete might actually be bigger loss than Kagemitsu. Ariete came at a time when Sword sucked and saved Sword single-handedly, only to keep saving it time and time again with her insanely busted effects and, you know, low cost the more you evote. Like, no longer will you go Ida, 0 cost Ariete, get 3 players back and draw 7 cards, which obviously just wins the game, right? And they lose that. So I wonder what sort of card draw they might get in the future. But let the record show Ariete was insane. She actually put in too much work, being on ward and getting you 5 life and drawing cards and being discounted and getting you play points back. Ariete was actually way too good. The Hoy, what's up, dude? We're not doing a card review. I'm going over the cards that are going to rotate out, which is sort of like the opposite of card review. Draw 7 cards, cost 0, yeah. You slap 1,000 effects on a card, it's going to be good. Maybe you have to play off the top. Ariete being gone, sword players will definitely miss that. So the biggest losses are honestly 2 legendaries. Kagemitsu is massive, as is Ariete. Like, the way that Sword plays right now with their Evo shenanigans, just Evo 1,000 times and then do, you know, stuff, that gets a lot weaker with both these cards being gone. And then for the other Sword deck, Walfred, Listen to Samurai and the Corley Dance hurts. But Walfred isn't a terror now, and we'll have to see what they give Walfred or what they don't give him, I guess. That sword is like not in a great spot. But I just want to see sword do something else, man. And I don't mind them losing Ariad. I'm okay with that. Ariad was too good at the end of the day, right? Finally, the bane of my existence is gone. Ariad did do too much. Okay, next we have Runecraft. Runecraft has Disciple, no play whatsoever. Won't miss that. This used to be played in the Riley and Carol deck, which is as long since been gone, so it doesn't really matter. Card was insane though, for the record. I'm just saying, 2 play point 4/3 rush draw card actually busted. Mouse was a take 2 card. Summons, I mean the whole Shigami package is gone, and all of it was really strong. You know, Spell was definitely relied on the Shigami package, and wow, this has been around for so long, huh? Finally rotate out. Summons was, you know, a big part of that. Card was super good. Mirror was good, definitely saw some play. Nothing super huge though, and I don't know what Earth Rune is gonna do, but I guess to lose the mirror. If you guys didn't know, I somehow opened 3 Kyoka leaders. And Kyoka was a good card, definitely saw play. One of the better Universe cards. Not a huge loss though. I don't think she sees play today, but she's gone. This guy never really saw play. I thought he would be a lot better, but he just was not. Carol is the big one. Both in, you know, Control Carol, Carol Turbo, or Earth Rune, Riley, whatever. Carol showed up. She usually was the game finisher, right? Her effect was really powerful. Like both the fanfare and universe and AOE effect and her stats. Carol was actually insane. Now for a long part she just did not see any play whatsoever. But don't let that fool you. Carol is a big deal, and her losing or her being rotated out does matter a lot for Rune. Specifically the Control Rune deck is probably gone. Completely gone. People really dislike Carol too. Carol's one of those cards that people really just do not like her card design, right? I triple Caroled half of Japan when it was a meme. Yeah, we used to play a lot of triple Carol. This reminds me of a lot of my old YouTube videos, which by the way, if you guys are interested, if you're like, oh man, I never saw the old Carol deck, I wonder what that looked like, go, it's on my YouTube, you can find it. Or the Limaga deck, you're like, whoa, no way Limaga actually got to Grandmaster, go watch the video, it's there. You could see it in action. Meteor Storm, really no play. Sorcerer, part of the Shigami package, definitely will be missed. Demon Caller was insane, again part of the package, a huge part of Spell Boost. They pretty much have to completely remake Spell Boost from scratch, and we've seen a tiny bit of that with the Gios guy, which I do like. Dark Mage matters a lot, so this was like the Earth finisher, and then once Earth disappeared, it just became like a cycle card for like Control Rune. So in both aspects of the card, the Crystallize and the Fanfare, it will be missed. Again, I don't know if Earth Rune is going to be a thing, but if it was going to be a thing, it's a way worse thing without this guy, right? And Kuon himself, I mean, the face of Spell Boost, right? Like I said, I don't mind Kuon rotating. I think this is the part about rotation that is good, that the classes and the decks can't just stay there doing the same thing over and over again. Kuon being gone is something we should celebrate, and we should welcome a new set of Spell Boost cards. Now, the new set of Spell Boost cards may be bad, maybe it takes them a while, maybe they're good, I don't know. But either way, you don't have to deal with Kuon anymore, and that is a win in my book. Okay, so Rune misses. The Spell Boost package is pretty huge. And then aside from that, there's Carol, which is also pretty huge. So Rune definitely loses a little good. Rune definitely loses a lot of good cards. Next we have Dragoncraft, my favorite class. Flamin' Might, I actually like this card a lot. When we originally played like board-based Bike Dragon, this was good. Being able to clear a follower and buff a chef or a bandit. I actually really like this card. Plus the art is so good. Tell me you guys don't love the art in this card, chat. It's so good. So good, right? But ultimately not a huge loss. Sword of Dragoon says no play whatsoever. Did you guys know that I revealed this card, chat? It was me. And this guy, I hyped it up on the reveal, then he saw no play, and then he now sees play, right? So, kind of weird. But I always did like him, especially because any card that I reveal obviously will always hold a special place in my heart. So I will miss this guy. He was solid, but Bike Dragon can definitely exist without him, no problem. Inori, kind of like the Pekko, she might have seen a little bit of Universe play at the start and then instantly dips. So honestly, Inori being gone absolutely does not matter at all. I used to like Gary a lot. Ram Dragon not really a thing, no other deck plays Gary, but he was cool. Him being gone is pretty whatever these days though. This guy was good in Take 2, but again already banned in Take 2 anyway. DJ Dragon is maybe the most important card for Dragon. He is the most efficient form of damage that there might actually be in the entirety of Shadowverse. Is there any other card that does 4 phase damage for 3 play points, chat? Because the amount of games that you would be like, oh, I'm good against Dragon, and then they're like, DJ Dragon, GG. Too much, man. This is a big loss for Dragon. Really all kinds of Dragon. This guy was actually insane. Obviously, late game was crazy. Early ambush potentially game winning as well. This guy was really, really good. Dark General is 4 damage for 4. This guy was 4 damage for 3, which makes it better, right? But yeah, Dragon will definitely miss the Imprisoned Dragon. Rare Metal was rare AS. Some memes with this guy. This guy never saw any play. Card has great art. Ass card. Jade Long, not a good card either. Usually you think like card has Storm, it's automatically good, but Dragon just a better, way better Storm cards always. Merman, no play whatsoever. I thought he might have been okay. He was actually bad. And then Kaya, again, like Inori, maybe saw a little bit of play at the start and then completely disappeared. Again, kind of like the Jade Long. Like, yeah, she has Storm, but there were always better targets, I feel like. She wasn't too relevant. Definitely is not relevant today, and she will not be missed. Deadly Tyrant is more efficient. Yeah, so the biggest loss for Dragon is 100% DJ Dragon. No questions are asked. This was just the Storm card go-to for Dragon. Everything else is pretty whatever. They really will only miss the DJ Dragon. Like some Natura cards in there that don't matter at all. Ice Edge Dragon might be the second one, but really just the big one is the Dark Prison Dragon. Yeah, really just the Storm, nothing else that Ultimate Colosseum Dragon really got. Like, you could say Bike Dragon loses Dragon Nude, the Dragon, and the Colosseum. But I think they'll be fine even without that. The other cards are too strong. Okay, Shadowcraft. In Shadowcraft we have Miyako. Never a big fan of this card. Obviously it was good in the game and she did see a ton of play. See some play to the Aggro Shadow, I guess. But honestly, like doing this whatever. It's not a big deal at all. Now Procession is massive. Ever since Procession was released, it's been played in like any sort of yokai shadow deck, and even in a non-yokai. Like you're just like, oh, I have shadow cards, I'm a shadow deck, we're playing Procession. It's just too strong, right? Insane card draw potential and Council Bureau right, which has great synergy with, you know, Rally and whatnot. Absolutely insane card. This will be a huge loss for Shadow. Will really slow down their shadow generation, their card draw, their everything. So this is a huge loss. Broncrian was kind of whatever. Yukiona was the other card that I revealed this expansion. I had a 2-for-1, so I revealed the Lewis Dancing Lewis Nude, and then we revealed the Lewis Ona. And Yukiona was really good back in Yokai. You could for 8 play points get a 6 attack Storm Follower that could destroy a ward, and that alone was a reason for her to be played, and she was really good in that. Not really played recently these days, but she was, you know, pretty big back in her day, and these days, pretty whatever, I guess. Yeah, Yokai was a deck. At some point, Yokai was the best deck in the game, you know? Bone Crane is getting rotated out, so he will not stick around. Rush Knight was a decent card. Nothing too crazy. Definitely good enough to see play. But his effect is not so massive that losing him doesn't really matter either. Pretty whatever. He was cool though. I did like him. Can never say this properly. Tashiki Warashi. We had some meme decks with this card. Just get it, can't be attacked, keep going face with it, buff it, things like that. This was like, there's an aggro shadow deck, again on YouTube you can find it, where there's just playing this deck and going face with it. It was surprisingly fun, but not a huge loss. Mummy Chef, still weird to this day. What is he even cooking? Nobody will miss Mummy Chef. Kesha is relevant, although if you compare Kesha to Procession, Procession saw like a ton more play. It was way more flexible and way cheaper. So losing Procession hurts 1,000 times more than losing this, but losing Kesha does hurt a little bit, right? Junin Doji, pretty massive, great voice actor.
The eye of the demon is upon you.
Just a really cool card, great art, you know, good fanfare, good Evo effect, has Bane. Like Junin Doji gave you a leader effect that enables shenanigans that you just didn't get otherwise. And for that alone, I think that Shadow players will miss him. A lot you could do with Junin Doji, a lot of really cool things. He will be missed for sure. The meta defining Mummy Chef. All the yokais are standing in procession. You mean in the card art? Oh yeah, Gensetsu, Yukiona, all the nerds. Path to Perdition sees a ton of play today. Wasn't really that much play when he came out, but I guess over time we found better ways to make this useful, namely with Gremory, I suppose. This will hurt the Gremory deck. They rely on this as their main form of damage. That said though, there's always Necro Impulse, so... You know, it's just Necro Impulse people, right? Like, losing this will hurt Shadow, but I think nothing they can't come back from. The last card, Gensetsu, the leader they still owe us. So, again, back when Yokai Shadow was a terror, Gensetsu was a huge part of that. Insane flexible card, Axel 2, Axel 5, insane 9-drop, which Junin Doji just won the game on the spot so many times. And yet these days, sees absolutely no play, and losing her will not really matter for Shadow at all. But don't forget that, you know, she did have a great run. Cards like this will always hold a special place in my heart, even if they're not relevant today. Part of me will miss them, but Shadow players probably really won't. Next we have Bloodcraft. For Bloodcraft we have Lucius. Lucius was just a standalone great Shadowverse card. He did see some play here and there, and you know, he's just like a generically good card. So for that alone, Blood players might miss him, but no archetype is relying on Lucius. Voltio isn't, future archetypes wouldn't be, Ball isn't, Aggro Blood isn't, like whatever. He's like, they'll be fine without him, but he was a good card. Paper Madness was a good card indeed, but other natural cards are gone. It's pretty whatever at this point, doesn't really matter. Succubus was, I guess, some rat synergy. Nobody cares about that. Antelope, okay. So this is like the start of the Wrath, right? Where Wrath was a thing. And Antelope was a great Wrath card, honestly. When you turboed out Wrath, oftentimes it was because you went first with this guy on turn 2. And that's how you really got to Wrath. Like, he was a great card. I don't know if they're gonna just completely forget about Wrath, try and rebrand it, or move on to Vengeance or something else. But as far as Wrath goes, missing this guy will be huge. I remember when these cards came out, we thought there was gonna be like a suit type of blood deck with all these animals. It did not amount to anything. This card was never played. This guy was not played. Cougar Pelt Warrior was cool, but not played either. The Bear Pelt has a special place in my heart because, you know, he's a bear. This guy was great. Just such a good Shadowverse card. So buff, so cool, so good. You deal 2 damage to yourself and your opponent, which is insane. Great stat line, good last words on Evo. And regular last words too. Just a fantastic Shadowverse card. Bear's fantastic. I will miss him. But again, pretty whatever in the grand scheme of things, as Wrath will probably not happen anyway. EO? Oh yeah, I skipped EO. He was pretty busted, chat. You guys want to talk about overstated 2-drops, insane Shadowverse cards? EO was 100% one of them. A fully statted 2/2 with Drain. Absolutely absurd universe to just clear 2 followers. And if that wasn't good enough, her Evo effect was absolutely insane. Dealing 2 damage to all enemy followers and the face. then getting to drain and clean up. Io was crazy. From the day she came out to today, Blood players abuse Io left and right. One of the most influential and important universe cards, and she will be dearly missed for sure. You're so used to just like, oh, Blood, they have the Io, right? They always do. Every Blood deck played it. It was always absurd, insane. But in the future, chat, we just won't have to worry about it. Io was busted. Io was busted, yeah. Ilya has a weird hat. I never liked her too much. She did see playing like Control Blood and things like that. Her, you know, burst for 3 was good. My fondest memory of this card is that meme in Crumpy's chat when some guy on Reddit read Ilya, then he wrote like a 2-page essay on why she was the worst card ever made. And then it turned out Ilya was pretty good. She was solid. She saw play. She was good. Not super exciting today, but she was a good card. I won't really miss her though. It's pretty whatever in the grand scheme of things. A 2-page essay, yeah. Gravy was like super garbage, no play whatsoever, and then he got buffed, and he became an absurd card. The Gravy after the buff is insane, absolutely insane. So good on 8. Mate Rat way better, can be abused in Boltu and really just about anything. Gravy's super powerful today. Losing him will hurt for sure, but again, I'm assuming here that Wrath is not gonna be a thing. So like the Wrath deck that will exist after. We'll miss all these Wrath cards, but that Wrath deck probably doesn't actually exist, right? So maybe it doesn't matter. But I will miss Gravy, he was cool. It's canon that Ilya stepped on that dude. I hope Crumpy banned that Muppet. Giant Cobra is one of Kirby's favorite cards. Absolute terror. You tell me you get 2 Serpents for the price of 2? And a giant ass Cobra? Just a staple in Voltu decks, I guess. And Permafrost was once again, you know, the Wrath card. Also really flexible card for the Crystallize. Was played in a ton of decks even without the Wrath, just because hey, Crystallize 2 draw 2 is just really good. And at some point in time, dealing 10 damage to the face was good enough, I guess. These days, great Boltier card. Will it be missed? I always like the art on this card. I appreciate the art. It's a scuffed blood pact. Permafrost was cool. I will miss him. Or I will miss her for sure. 100%. So the biggest losses for Blood is without a doubt Io. By far. Not even close. Nothing can come close to how insane Io was. Aside from that, maybe the Bear. Bear was just like a generically good Blood card. Really good Blood card. Ilya, Gravy, Permafrost. Really just Io, and losing Io is huge. It is massive for a Blood deck in the future. But at the same time, after years of getting beat up by Io, it will be nice to not have to worry about her later on, so. Okay, next we got Havencraft. It's a bunch of ward synergy in Haven, because this is when Wilbert came out, right? Cards like Windstaff Priestess just were not good enough at all. Counterattack saw some play, and Ward Haven was good at some point. Like, this was okay card, but today, they won't play this at all, doesn't matter. Griffin was kinda cute, did not really see a lot of play. Yukari is the most important one by far. Yukari might be the most important universe card, at least in today's world. It's either Io or Yukari probably, I guess. Yukari is insane though. She like puts Sanctuary Haven on her back. And some people would even argue that the only reason Sanctuary Haven or Control Haven can't exist is because of Yukari. Yukari can stop so much damage late game and just let the Haven player just win. Without Yukari, like, your world would burn you, and you can stall the game, but Haven doesn't have like a, hey, it's turn 10 and I do 20 damage combo. They don't, right? So think of this scenario, chat. So you're playing Haven and you're going to control the board. And as you control the board, you stall the game out, and then it's like turn 10. Then your opponent has a, hey, it's turn 10, so my deck wins. Because they have some combo that does 20 damage or something like that. And you don't. You have no protection against that combo because you don't have Yukari. So what do you get of stalling the game? Like, Ra does damage, but Ra doesn't do 20 damage. Not on turn 10. And the other decks that are combo focused, like, they'll just kill you then, right? But Yukari just said no to all that stuff. Without her, I don't know what's gonna happen to Sanctuary Haven and Control Haven. What I will say though is that we've not seen most of the other cards, so maybe it could still happen. Maybe they get a replacement or something like her, or maybe some way that they could just win the game before it matters, right? But Haven losing Yukari is absolutely massive, and will 100% change like all those matchups, for sure. And she wasn't even a good waifu. Yeah, Yukari is the real bane of our insistence, and a good riddance, I agree. Saint was super overhyped. People thought this card would be insane. It wasn't. Sanctuary was pretty whatever. Golden Eagle, no play. Again, super overhyped card. Saren was a cool card. To this day, I think that Saren should have been a leader. She really should have been. She was cool. Not like super insane, but just a decent card. She did have this weird thing of like, if you're in Hyper Vengeance with 5 defense, she gets an extra effect. And they never touched on that. I never really understood how that works. I think it's just part of her like Prince Connect effect or some shit. But it never really translated well to Shadowverse, because Haven doesn't want to be 5. But she was just a solid all-around card. I will not miss Saren. Like, Saren was around to help any amulet decks that might happen. It's just, while Saren was alive, we just didn't have amulets, man. Like, they released Saren as like, hey, amulet decks would have a nice support card. And then they forgot to release amulets. I did like Saren though. Featherfolk was one of the playable Haven amulets, so he's gone. Although, to be honest, between you and I, chat, if we could be real here, Featherfolk was mostly used for high rolls. Like, oh, you open this on 1 and then you high roll some sort of like Sophie, or what is the name of that other jobber? Selena? Really just like a high roll card to me. Not the type of amulets that you want to see, I don't think. Countdown 4 is so expensive. I think we can do better than this guy. I hope his ass gets replaced by better amulets. Lancer was decent. Once Upon a Time was good for the Goddess combo. Some Ward Haven might have played this. Nothing super relevant though. This is just a 100% meme card. Pretty whatever. Wilbert himself. I hate to say it, chat. At some point it was Wilbert's time, but that time is long gone. Wardhaven being a tier 1 deck is forever ago, and his ass will not be missed. Wardhaven was a cute idea, and I do like it for what it was, as in like, hey, a new and different way to play Havencraft. For that, I appreciate Wilbert, and what he tried to do for Haven. Even if it failed for forever, eventually they found a way to make Wardhaven good. And then they nerfed it and it was never the same after, so it's kind of weird how that works out, right? But I like the idea of, hey, a class does something, let's give them something else to do. Like, I appreciate that, so I do like Wilbur for that. He's kind of a nerd though. And Goddess might actually be the biggest card. Well, second, I guess. Not counting Yukari. Goddess was pretty sick, although a meme card for like 90% of her existence. Once cards came out that actually made Goddess good, like Set and Noah, Goddess was insane. Goddess on 6 was absolutely game winning, especially if you ramped into her with Ramiel. So a very powerful card. And it's a good example of like how cards are only as good as the cards around them, right? Goddess was around forever ago, over a year. But because the synergy for her wasn't there in the other cards, she just didn't see play. And then as soon as the synergy was there, she became insane, absolutely absurd, even though she was always there, you know? So just keep that in mind when you think of cards in the future. Like, a card is only as good as its supporting cards, right? Or, the other weird thing of that is that a card that may not be that good could be insane with the right support, right? But I will miss the Goddess. She was a great Haven card. Like I said, the most important card for Havencraft is Yukari, and it's not even close. And I personally will be glad that Yukari is long gone. I will not miss her. I will say this, for how powerful Yukari was, you could also argue she was super, and I mean super, unfun to play against. It's not particularly fun when you have to play against something that just says like, hey, your cards don't work. It's just not a fun game to stand on. I'm not a fan of it. I will not miss Yukari for that. Yeah, like back-to-back Yukari, so infuriating, super unfun. Whack card. Might as well battle it now. Get Yukari out of here. Good riddance. Oh shit, I forgot one more class. Forgot there's another clown class in this game. Okay, our last class to talk about is Portalcraft. Gotta go over all the universe cards. So although float was never really a thing, and you can't tell me otherwise, focus was a good card. Maybe because Karula got buffed though. But focus is not a focal point of any portal deck, and honestly, it being gone is pretty whatever. Brawler, the fat 03 stat line. I could just never forget that meme, dude. Barrage Brawler with the fat 03 stat line. Lancer was a cute card. Some cute synergy with this. Really strong back in the day, in the right circumstance, but nothing that Portal will really miss. Natura Portal, lol. Cannon Blade Wielder. This is like the bad float cards, just bad. Amy, maybe the best Portal card these days for Colosseum. Really good 2-drop. Great, insane fanfare. And is wildly played in all the evil Portal decks today. Maybe even in non-evil Portal decks. Just a great card all around. Portal will definitely miss the Amy. Amy was the nuts. Amy was so good. Amy was so good. Is Amy a jammer? I don't know. Grappler, one of the better float cards. Also got banned in Take 2. Who's the Kicker, which is a strictly Take 2 card basically. Karula was not great, and then he got buffed and now he's great, and now he'll be banned and he'll be gone. But he is great today, and he is a big part of the evil Portal deck, so I wonder what direction they want to take Portal in. Because like the twins will still be around. They probably don't forget about evil Portal, and it'll just be a bit different with Karula and Amy. Karula will be missed for sure. Box Above is just a good card, just a great card in general. Lokoka Steady Bear is just so awesome, dude. Look at him punch that soldier, just poof. So they will miss this. Box Above was good. Fortress had high roll potential, but never really materialized into anything. Colony was massive for artifacts, but artifacts are not real anymore. Although I guess they could be in the future with Spinny, but they will lose this, so kind of weird. But like this rotated out 3 months ago, or maybe 6, because artifacts is not played at all, right? So it's like we've already lost this card a long time ago. It's not really relevant. And Kaiser, kind of a meme card, but did see some fringe play here and there. In some decks it could have put in work. I don't hate it, but I won't really miss it either. No Portal deck relies on this, so I think it's pretty fine. The two biggest offenders or biggest things that will be missed are definitely Amy and Karula. Alright, there you go, chat. Those are all the cards rotating out. So the new expansion comes out on Tuesday. On Tuesday, I will do an extra beefy, extra long, extra early, extra juicy Darkness over Belsa stream on Tuesday. You guys don't want to miss that, chat. So watch the stream.